The Speed Station welcomes you to ISM Raceway for the running of the Bluegreen Vacations 500. And here is the Championship 4 entering today's race. It's a very simple championship format. Whoever of these four finishes ahead of one another is the champion for the 2019 season. Those four being Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Clint Bowyer, and Kyle Larson. Three of those four could exit today's race as a first-time champion. One other important note entering this weekend is that this is the final race for three NASCAR Cup Series veterans, David Reagan, Paul Menard, and Derek Cope, all ending their over 10-year career at today's race at ISM Raceway. Kyle Busch wins the final pole of the year above Kevin Harvick, who is a Championship 4 contender, Daniel Suarez, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Matt DiBenedetto, Eric Jones, and Jimmy Johnson. Then the other Championship 4 contenders line up in 12th with Ryan Blaney, 16th with Clint Bowyer, and then all the way down in 39th position because Larson wrecked in qualifying way deep in the pack.
Drivers, start your engines!
Stage 1 ends on lap 31, and Stage 2 goes out to lap 62 of this 125-lap race. Green flag, and we are underway for the final race of 2019. Only 135 miles to decide the champion. Kyle Busch gets a good jump off into turn 1. Already the field starting to fan out into 3 wide. Daniel Suarez will drive up into second spot, past his teammate Kevin Harvick. And Kyle Busch will lead lap 1 as Kevin Harvick drives on the outside to at least take second at the line above teammate Daniel Suarez. Here comes Brad Keselowski on the inside 3 wide to take 4th spot. Harvick managed to clear the 41 car as the 2 car of Brad Keselowski will finally clear the 19 to take 4th spot all over the back bumper of the 41 into turn 1. Now Keselowski will take 3rd spot. Denny Hamlin moving up into 4th with Suarez falling to 5th. Second in points now, Clint Bowyer goes on the inside line to get by Eric Jones to move up into 6th spot. Currently, the top 2 in points are Stewart Haas cars with Kevin Harvick leading above Clint Bowyer. Kyle Larson trying to dig himself out of a qualifying hole. He qualified in 39th position, but he's already driven his way up into 26th spot after 6 laps. Here comes Clint Bowyer, 3 wide on the inside. Moves Martin Truex Jr. up the racetrack and will now file into 4th position. Only 1 car, which is Denny Hamlin, separates himself from the point lead. Kyle Busch still holds a controlling lead over the field, about a half second above Kevin Harvick in the 4 car. Car into the outside wall. The 48 car of Jimmy Johnson has been turned. Yellow flag is out. In the race back to the caution, Kyle Busch is the leader. Kevin Harvick in 2nd, Denny Hamlin in 3rd, and Martin Truex Jr. in 4th. Entering turn 1, it looks like Jimmy Johnson tries to cut down in front of the 1 car, Kurt Busch. Busch dumps him in the apex of 1 and 2 up into the outside wall. And a little bit of contact with him and Derek Cope. First car out of pit road is the 18 car getting off in 1st, above Daniel Suarez, who will move up into 2nd. And the battle for 3rd gets won by Kevin Harvick. And there was an issue on the 31 car of Tyler Reddick's pit stop. They've fallen 1 lap down and will obviously restart on the inside line of leader Kyle Busch. And green flag for lap 13. 31 car of Reddick trying to make his lap back with Harvick shooting up the middle to attempt to take second off teammate Daniel Suarez into 1. Looks like Harvick will take the position. Martin Truex Jr. trying to go 3 wide on the inside and turns the 31 car into the inside wall. They managed to all save it without a caution coming out, but that was very dangerous for the 12 car, the championship contender of Ryan Blaney. Harvick has now taken the lead off turn 4. Made a power move to the inside, the 18 off of the 4th corner, and beat Kyle Busch back to the start-finish line. Here comes Denny Hamlin up the inside line of the 18. Hamlin will now take second spot, with Clint Boyer trying to take second as well off of Hamlin. Yellow flag is back out. Harvick the leader, Hamlin up to second, and Kyle Busch managed to beat the 14 car back to the line for third position. Chase Elliott makes contact with Ryan Newman coming off pit road, slides up into the 15 car, causes the caution due to debris. Many of the top 10 cars decide to stay out on that last cycle of stops, but several leaders decide to come in, and they came out in the order of Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, and Kevin Harvick. So Harvick and Blaney were the two championship contenders to head down pit road that last time by, while Larson and Clint Boyer decided to stay out. Landon Castle in his final ride in that 00 car has managed to drive his way up in the 10th position through pit strategy. Kyle Busch has got an issue. The first car off pit road is heading back down onto pit road, I'm assuming for a tire failure. Very unfortunate for the 18 team. And we're now going to have 11 to go in stage 1 and green flag. Martin Truex Jr. trying to already make a move on the 14 to take second spot using the lap car of Ryan Newman up the middle, and it looks like Truex will take the lead entering turn 1. Taking it off of teammate Denny Hamlin. Here comes Keselowski, who went 3 wide on the inside into turn 3 to take second. Clint Boyer will now take third. He's currently the highest running championship contender. Kevin Harvick also had a tire failure. He had to end up going back down pit road. I believe he is now 1 lap down. That's devastating for the 4 car. Denny Hamlin up the inside line and into turn 1 will now take second spot off of Brad Keselowski. Clint Boyer trying to follow suit into third position. Kevin Harvick is in fact 1 lap down, so this is a very bad situation for that 4 team and their odds of winning this championship. Martin Truex Jr. leads Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Clint Boyer, and Kurt Busch. That's the top 5. Update on your championship 4. Clint Boyer runs in 4th spot. Larson runs in 8th. Ryan Blaney runs in 14th position. And currently Kevin Harvick, after blowing that tire, runs in 37th position, 1 lap down. Currently the highest running soon-to-be retired driver is Paul Menard, who runs in 14th position, trying to take 13th off of Joey Logano in the 22 car. Martin Truex Jr. has been able to extend his lead above teammate Denny Hamlin out to 2.5 seconds. With Brad Keselowski still running in 3rd, Kurt Busch took 4th off of Clint Boyer, with Boyer falling into 5th. Last week's winner, Matt DiBenedetto, has now driven his way up into 6th position, with 2nd place at Texas, Chris Buescher, running in 7th. And there's the white flag for Martin Truex Jr. in stage 1. And in the first stage, MTJ will cruise to victory, with Joe Gibbs' teammate Denny Hamlin finishing 2nd, Brad Keselowski 3rd, Kurt Busch in 4th, and the highest championship 4 contender, Clint Boyer, running in 5th. So unless Kevin Harvick can overcome this tire failure early on, it seems that we will have a first-time NASCAR Cup Series champion by the end of today. First car off the pit road is Martin Truex Jr. getting off in 1st, above Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola up into 3rd, and Denny Hamlin in 4th. On that cycle of stops, Landon Castle managed to make his way up into 7th position, while the top 2 championship contenders, Kyle Larson, stealing the point lead off Clint Boyer off pit road, currently runs in 5th, with Boyer directly behind in 6th position. So expect a battle on this restart. And the 95 car is pulling back onto pit road. We've seen a lot of issues with possible tire failures today, although this may be something more severe on the 95 team. Makes you wonder how hard Kevin Harvick's going to battle to get that lap back on this restart. He's going to have to muscle his way around Martin Truex Jr. and then pray for a caution. Green flag for stage 2. Harvick trying to go 3 wide on the inside line to get his lap back. Dives it into turn 1. And the 10 car gets way wide on the entry to 1, and it looks like Harvick and Newman will both get their lap back as long as they can stay ahead of the 19. Harvick managed to fall behind the 6 car, and it looks like Truex will re-lap those 2 lap-down cars. Newman still battling for it as Clint Bowyer has retaken the championship lead and moved up into 2nd spot. A little bit of contact between the 20 and 11 cars off of turn 2. But here comes the 14 car of Clint Bowyer up the inside of Martin Truex Jr. At the start-finish line, Bowyer led that lap. Going all the way down on the apron through the dog leg. And Truex is heading down pit road. This may be strategy, but that checked up the whole outside line and allowed William Byron to drive up onto that line. Just a huge gaggle of cars was generated by the 19 car coming down pit road, and 5 wide. They make contact between the 24 and 2. They still get through it cleanly as the 12 car will now move up into 2nd spot. Ryan Sieg trying to battle on the outside for that position, and now the championship 4 drivers, Clint Bowyer and Ryan Blaney, hold the top 2 positions. Soon to be retired Paul Menard has now moved up to 5th. So now Clint Bowyer is still the leader, still being hounded by teammate Kevin Harvick to try and get his lap back and be back in a championship winning contention. 2nd spot occupied by the 12 car. And 3rd by Ryan Sieg in the 33. Here comes Harvick on the inside line of Bowyer. Just barely inches ahead of that 14 car. These 2 teammates running side by side has allowed the 12 car of Blaney to gain a lot of ground. Bowyer will once again clear Harvick. Well, Ryan Blaney's closed the gap to only being 0.7 of a second off the 14. Now, if the 4 car was not 1 lap down, this would be a real championship battle right here. Jimmy Johnson, after that early race spin, has now driven his way up into 5th spot. Maybe knocking that spoiler out of the air helped him a little bit. Jimmy Johnson just got around the 33 car of Ryan Sieg to move up into 4th position. The 18 car of Kyle Busch has dropped out of this race with an ignition failure, and the 9 car of Chase Elliott has dropped out with a gearbox issue. So they will finish 40th and 39th respectively. Jimmy Johnson has just made his way up into 3rd position, so now Bowyer leads Blaney, Johnson, Menard, and Logano. 10 to go in stage 2. Bowyer is still trying to hold off teammate Kevin Harvick to keep Harvick trapped 1 lap down. Here comes Harvick up on the outside. Trying to get that lap back, but it let the 12 car onto the inside of Harvick. Here comes Ryan Blaney, looks to the inside of the 14 car in the dogleg. Blaney will now take the lead. That was a great planned move going into turn 1. But Bowyer drives right back along the outside of the 12. Blaney did lead that lap. Harvick still trying to get his lap back. Now only 5 to go in stage 2. Blaney really drove away from the 14 car off turn 2. He was able to gap Bowyer by almost 0.2 of a second just getting off that corner. Paul Menard trying to make a move on the 48 car on the inside line, attempting to take 3rd position off of 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. Yellow flag is out, and this will end stage 2. Stage winner Ryan Blaney above Clint Bowyer, Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano, and Paul Menard dropping into 5th. Eric Jones gets turned by Matt DiBenedetto coming off turn 2. Up into DiBenedetto, spins in front of traffic. Championship 4 contender Larson avoids it, but Byron does not. Busch does not. And Derek Cope, unfortunately, in his final career Cup Series race, crashes out on lap 61. First car off pit road is Ryan Blaney, getting off in front of the 14 car of Clint Boyer and the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. So now Kevin Harvick has no guaranteed yellows to get back onto the lead lap. So he just has to pray for a caution once he may be able to pass the leader. Here we go for the final stage of the year. Green flag. Harvick already going 3 wide to try and get that lap back. He slid up the racetrack in front of race leader Ryan Blaney, and it looks like the 21 car trying to go 4 wide for second position. The 12 and 14 cars battling for a championship in first and second, while Paul Menard wants to end his career with a win here at Phoenix, currently runs in third position. Blaney is heading down pit road. I'm not sure whether or not this is a problem or just advanced strategy. This will hand the championship lead over to Clint Boyer, with second in points taken by Kyle Larson. Second in the race, however, has been taken by Paul Menard. Third position has now been taken by Joey Logano, with Jimmy Johnson being challenged on the outside line by Denny Hamlin for fourth spot. Chaser Kyle Larson has now driven his way up into sixth position, with Joey Logano going 3 wide on the inside for second. Denny Hamlin will now take third spot off Menard. All this battling for second has allowed Clint Boyer to get a 1-second lead above the rest of the field. So Denny Hamlin has gained an awful lot of ground on the 14 car of Clint Boyer. He's cut the lead now down to less than half a second. Joey Logano runs in third above Paul Menard in fourth, and Jimmy Johnson running in fifth. Denny Hamlin dives into turn 1 on the outside line, gets right up beside Clint Boyer as they exit turn 2. A drag race down the backstretch. Hamlin's car must be good to be able to run that outside line, and Hamlin leads that lap. David Reagan, in his final career Cup Series race, runs in 16th position, trying to get around the lap car Landon Castle. Kevin Harvick still praying for a caution. If he gets one right now, he will remain on the lead lap. As of now, second in points, Kyle Larson runs in 6th position. Here comes Hamlin along the outside line of Martin Truex Jr., trying to put the 19 car back to 1 lap down. So at the moment, Denny Hamlin leads Clint Boyer by 1 second. Third spot held by Joey Logano. Fourth by Paul Menard, and fifth by Brad Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson up the inside line of Daniel Suarez will now retake 7th position off of the 41 car. Denny Hamlin through turns 1 and 2 will now put the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. back to 1 lap down. The gap between Hamlin and Clint Boyer has now been extended out to almost 2.5 seconds. So now the battle is not for the lead, it is for the championship between the 14 and 42 cars, who are only separated by 4 seconds. We now have only 35 laps to go here at Phoenix. Daniel Suarez making a move on the inside of Kyle Larson. He will now take 6th position, with title contender Larson falling back to 7th. The lead gap has been extended out to 3.5 seconds, but Denny Hamlin still cannot pass Kevin Harvick to put that 4 car 1 lap down. An update on the top 5. Denny Hamlin leads Clint Boyer by almost 4 seconds. In third is Joey Logano, 4th Paul Menard, and 5th Brad Keselowski. Then behind him, Championship 4 contender Kyle Larson and 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson, being battled by Daniel Suarez. 2 Rick Ware lap cars directly in front of Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. BJ McLeod boxed in Kevin Harvick coming off of turn 2. Hamlin thought about going 3 wide into 3, but decided to back out. And using these lap cars, it looks like Martin Truex Jr. will return to the lead lap. Denny Hamlin still tucked right up behind the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. Leads the field by still a little over 3.5 seconds above Clint Boyer. Harvick will head down pit road this time by, which slightly slowed up the 11 car, but Hamlin will stay out, and so will the 14 and 22. So we now have only 25 laps to go in the season, and that's 27 miles to decide the championship. Clinton Boyer, Joey Logano, Matt DiBenedetto, and Austin Dillon head down pit road this time by, but Denny Hamlin will stay out on the racetrack. Paul Menard will now move up into second, with Larson taking the championship lead and moving into third. Hamlin on to pit road. Larson also heading down, but Menard will stay out, as well as Brad Keselowski. Menard coming into the pits this time by, along with the 2 car and the 41. And through pit strategy, Clint Boyer closed the gap on Hamlin by several seconds. As you see Boyer and Hamlin in the same frame now. Before this cycle of stops started, these two cannot even be seen on the same straightaway at a time. Here comes Clint Boyer on the inside of Hamlin. And Blaney decides to head down pit road. Maybe the strategy wasn't so good, as he had the lead for a brief moment, but has to head down pit road. And now the battle between the 14 and 11. Hamlin will retake the lead entering turn 1. Clinton Boyer having to battle the lap car of Bailey Curry. If no cautions come out, this may be a slam dunk championship for Clint Boyer and the 14 team. Second in points, Kyle Larson runs in 4th position, but he is 7 seconds behind leader Denny Hamlin. So at the moment, Denny Hamlin leads Clint Boyer by almost 1 second above the Penske teammates of Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and then second in points, Kyle Larson. And then Paul Menard, in his final career Cup Series race, runs in 6th position. Less than 15 laps to go. Paul Menard just got around Kyle Larson. Menard will drive up into 5th with Larson falling to 6th. Clint Boyer was able to gain a lot of ground on the 11. That last time by, the gap narrowed to only 0.3 of a second. And at the start-finish line, 10 laps to go in the season. Hamlin still the leader. Clint Boyer trying to gain ground. Boyer does not have to win this race to win the championship, as he is still in front of the 42 car of Larson, with Larson almost 5 seconds behind Boyer. Paul Menard has now driven his way past Joey Logano to take 4th position. 5 laps to go. Denny Hamlin around the outside line will now put the 4 car of Harvick back 1 lap down. Oh, the 15 car blows up. Ross Chastain blows the engine, but no caution. That was, in fact, in front of Clint Boyer. Caution flag is out because of the stalled 15 car. It looks like the 2019 season will end under caution. Very fitting of the last few races. White flag displayed for Denny Hamlin. And off of turn 4, Denny Hamlin will win at ISM Raceway and sweep the races at Phoenix in 2019, while we have a new NASCAR Cup Series champion in Clint Boyer in the number 14 team. Denny Hamlin completes the sweep at Phoenix above 2019 Cup Series champion Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, new retired driver Paul Menard in 4th, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Matt DiBenedetto, Jimmy Johnson, and Chris Buescher round out the top 10. The other 2 championship contenders, Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney, finished 18th and 23rd respectively. And here is the official top 20 in points after the 2019 season. Clint Boyer the champion, Larson 2nd in points, Harvick 3rd in points, Blaney finishes 4th in points. The best of the rest, Denny Hamlin above Newman, Logano, Bowman, Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch. Paul Menard finishing 13th in points in his final season. I believe that may be his best ever in points of his career. Martin Truex Jr. 14th in points, Chase Elliott 15th, Tyler Reddick 16th in points, will win Rookie of the Year honors. And then from 17th to 20th, Kurt Busch, Chris Buescher, Eric Almirola, and Eric Jones. Everyone at the Speed Station appreciates you watching this season. Remember that the next race is the Busch Clash of 2020. Catch it right here on the Speed Station.